Hi there, it's Parker Layrisson with the Ponchatoula Live Show. And this week we've got some outstanding guests that I'm so excited to share with you. We're bringing to you a new format, and so I hope that you can see them side by side with me. These are the area's preeminent wildlife guides, Logan Davis and Jacob Stevens with NOLA Hunt Fish. Now, these are a couple of great Ponchatoula guys that are born and bred and raised right here in Ponchatoula. They're still here raising their own kids. And I've been blessed to kind of watch these guys grow up their whole life. Jacob and my little brother Louie are real similar in age. And I've seen Logan since he was a baby. He used to come into Hi-Ho when I worked there as a teenager with his mama when he was still in diapers. So they're wonderful fellas. It's really neat to see them be successful businessmen, successful career men, wonderful fathers. So with no further ado, Logan Davis, Jacob Stevens, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Great, Parker. Thanks for having us, man.
Doing well, doing well.
That's awesome, man. Well, look, I'd like to ask you guys to start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself. We can start when you were kids or wherever else you want, but you know, I want the folks watching here to get a little bit of a feel for your personal story. And as you do that, I want to remind our viewers, and I think it's posted here, post questions below. If you have a question for Logan, for Jacob, for me, post them in the comments below. We'll try to answer them. And with no further, comment there, Logan, Jacob, tell us about yourself and your background.
My name is Logan Davis, born and raised Ponchatoula, graduate of Ponchatoula High School, graduate of Southeastern. Family's been here for 4 generations now. I guess my little girl makes a 5th. So. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old.
And you family strawberry farmers back in the day too, if I recall, right?
Yeah, my great grandpa. My parents actually still live on Davis Drive. Kind of a namesake deal. The old strawberry farm. So the whole outdoors, that stuff runs deep. And
sure.
Of course, where we're located, the proximity to Wadesboro, Ponchatoula Creek, Man Shack, Tangipahoa River.
Right.
You know, we grew up. That stuff's in your backyard.
For sure.
It's kind of been there since day one.
Yeah, let's face it. When the the roads named after your family, you've been there a while.
Definitely.
I think my family got here in the 1890s, and the Davises were already set up shop. They're like, welcome to town, Larison's. Here you are. Yeah. And Jacob, of course, you come from an old Ponchatoula family too, or a couple of them. So tell us about yourself and your background.
Very similar to Logan, except on the other side of the tracks. My family was from Ponchatoula. My grandfather, Paul Stevens, was a strawberry and bell pepper and chicken farmer.
Right.
So, been here a long time. Matter of fact, both sides of my family are from Ponchatoula. So, but like Logan said, I had South Slough, Tangipahoa River, and everything right behind me.
Sure.
So, just always outdoors. Always either on the farm, helping the family with something or chasing something in the woods.
Well, speaking of both sides of your family, next time you see your Uncle Milton or your Uncle Darren, you have to ask them about me being your shadow uncle. I don't know if you know the story, but at the Layrisson house, I'm one of 4 boys, as you guys know, but I'm a good half foot shorter than all my brothers. And as you probably know, Jacob, your grandfather, Mr. Milton, and my dad are good friends. He used to go drink coffee with my parents just about every morning. And the family joke was always that Mr. Milton must really be my pawpaw. So I remember coming home from college and, laid up on the couch, maybe misbehaving the night before. He'd come in on his way to work at 5:30, 6 in the morning to drink coffee, and he'd grab me by the foot and say, "Wake up, son, we're going to work." And so your Uncle Milton's been calling me little brother for years. So that's cool. It's neat to see these families that have been around, stick around, and like you said, Logan, you got generation number 5 right here getting started. Tell us about what childhood was like for you guys in Ponchatoula. We're obviously going to spend a lot of today talking about wildlife, and we're going to get to what y'all are up to now. It's alligator, duck, deer, guides, fishermen, all that. But what not only what did y'all do, and I'm sure that was a lot of hunting and fishing, but who did you do it with? Who were your buddies, and who were your mentors, and who all were you hanging out with back in the day in Ponchatoula as kids?
Yeah, it was the typical small town. Everybody knows everybody. Coming up, there was a handful of friends that you were buddies with, and you stayed that way for up until now in life. And man, I bummed around with too many guys in the woods and in the swamp hunting and everything. Some of my bigger influences, of course, my grandfather.
Sure.
And then my dad and my uncle. My uncle is still like a second dad to me now, and we went and shot ducks this morning. So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that? Which uncle is this? What's his name?
Palmer.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great man. Yeah. We'll have to get him on the show. Boy, he's got an interesting story to tell.
Yeah, you better make the extra long segment for him.
Yeah. Like me, he's not afraid to talk, but he's a great guy. He helped me a ton when I got to town, was one of my first clients, and just a great fella in so many ways. He's a great, Well, that's neat. And what about you, Jacob? Who did you start out hunting, fishing, playing with, and tagging along with, and all that?
Like Logan said, just being from Ponchatoula, and my parents being from Ponchatoula, they're all their friends, and I've got a huge family, all my cousins and everything. But growing up, my dad had an uncle, Victor Stevens. Everybody knew him as Boot, and he had a camp on the Tangipahoa River. Way back in the 20s, I think he got it.
Oh, wow, that's old school.
Yeah, so back in the day, that was our family vacation every year. We went down to for a week or two, just stayed secluded down there, and that's where a big part of my outdoors came from, is having close cousins and my younger brother Daniel. We would just venture off into the swamp, whether it was fishing or hunting or just hiding, just
right
down there. So, but a bunch of my cousins, all the hillside and all of them that very well. That's all.
You think cousin Mikey, he'll spend a little time in that swamp with you, or what?
Oh, he's there right now.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Parker, Jacob, and I'm closer in age to his little brother, and we knew each other, growing up small town and everything. But we weren't in high school at the same time, and it wasn't until after around college, working together and everything. But he and I have been hunting buddies for probably the past 12, 13 years. So anywhere from at the deer camp in Mississippi, down south shooting ducks, fishing, everything. So. That's
cool. And that's kind of neat about Ponchatoula, how you can start with this set of brothers and end up with that set of brothers sometimes. It's like I got two boys, and they're godfathers of brothers, and my lifelong best friend, Will Richardson's my age. But my second son's godfather is his brother, Ben, who Jacob's more like your age, 5 or 6 years behind. I mean, we didn't even go to high school together, but as adults, we hang out probably as much as Will and I do at the end of the day. Well, that's pretty neat. Well, tell us about what, before we get into the college years and all that stuff and your professional career, y'all both went to Ponchatoula High, right?
Correct.
What was that experience like for you there? What are your memories of PHS days? That seems to be a popular topic with our viewers and other people that come on. We're a one high school town. A few folks, like my nieces and nephews go over to St. Thomas, but most of us stay here and kind of bleed green. And who were your favorite teachers there, or any stories to tell before we kind of escape the childhood years?
I'm glad you brought that up. Some of my fondest memories are during the high school years. You're still kind of carefree, not a whole lot of responsibilities in.
Yeah.
So, that's when all the gallivanting on the weekends, whether it's chasing women or chasing deer, that all happened back then. But I really enjoyed PHS. That was I was milking cows in the evenings at Ernst Dairy Farm back then. And so that's
hard work there, man. That's real work. Yeah. That's not like high school. I worked at Hi-Ho in high school. I ate a bunch of cheeseburgers, as you can tell. You were backbreaking doing real work. Wow.
Yeah, somewhat. But a lot of my good friends from high school, they would bum around the dairy farm with us, and after the cows were milked, that's when we'd head back out, build a bonfire, and just do the kind of outdoor stuff. The PHS is a great place. I think I had about 300 in my graduating class, which kind of sounds big, but everybody knew everybody. I can still name every single person that I graduated with because it's just, close-knit Ponchatoula.
Yeah, it really is a tight-knit community. Logan, was your experience like that? I know you were years behind Jacob.
I loved high school. It was a lot of fun, and it was a bit of a change. I graduated grade school from St. Joseph, so it's small, 25 people or so, and then jumping into a much larger class where you're not in the same room with the same people all day, every day, And I played baseball in high school, so that was kind of what took a lot of my focus. I wasn't very good, but I had a lot of fun doing it, you know. So.
Right. Well, you get a kick. I was not very much of an athlete myself, but I never forget when I spoke at the Kiwanis Club a few years ago, my childhood coach, one of my lifelong heroes, Mutt Burner at Pond Food, he was the introductory speaker, and he coached us all through the St. Joseph League, you know, but also in the City League and all that. And he told the gang that my high school career, my athletic career, peaked at about the 5th or 6th grade. And I thought he was being kind. It might have flamed out before then, so I didn't make it as long as you. But just the camaraderie of being on the team or being with that group of buddies.
No doubt. And I'm still buddies with a lot of those guys up to this day. You know? Well,
I'm glad you mentioned St. Joe. And Jacob, I know you were a St. Joe guy too, if I recall. I know, you know, your family's been there forever, as was I, you know, long before you guys. But, you know, what I think's neat is St. Joe Clique sticks together. And please tell me if your experience was different. But I literally got a text message less than 3 days ago from my old classmate, Brandon Perrin, who you guys know from the Tangipahoa River, I'm sure, reminded me that his birthday camp out behind his mom and dad's house is coming up in a few weeks. We've been camping out back off of Thibodeau Road for 40 years. And we still do, you know, and it's this core, you know, 8 or 9 guys out of that class that stay in close contact. Has that been y'all's experience?
I think so. For me personally, there's a couple guys that still talk to and see regularly. And of course, with families and life, everything gets a little more busy. But nonetheless, you know, some of that main group, at least once a week, you're picking up the phone or texting them or something, some kind of communication.
Right. Well, tell me how the two of y'all met, because as you mentioned, y'all weren't sitting next to each other in class. You're a few years apart. How did the two of you hook up and strike up this strong friendship? I appreciate the honesty.
Mutual friends just kind of came together, and hey, he liked hunting, I liked hunting. Seeing a lot of each other just in and around town. Like I said, mutual friends, same group, and one day, hey, let's take a ride to the deer camp. And then that turned into every Friday night, you know, after work. We're heading north. We're going to the deer camp. And we're going tomorrow. So
neat. Yeah, you remind me of my brother Bree. He's like y'all, man. As soon as the whistle blows on work, he's heading to the hunting camp.
That's it. That's it.
That's the call of the wild. Now we got to watch out here. I see you know, our buddy Caitlin Fulmer Skates put on here, asked Logan about his birthday camp out, aka Logan Palooza. That sounds like a topic we might need to avoid. I don't know. What's the story there?
I know my wife's ready for it to end. I said it would end whenever I had a kid or turned 30, and both of those happened already, and
it's still going.
So. It's very similar to the Brandon Perrin thing. We've just done it so long. It's a tradition.
And Parker, if I'm there or not, the guys are still having Logan Palooza.
Same thing with Brandon. We now have Brandon's kids joining us. Trent camps out with us. You know, but you know, hey, if your wife doesn't like it, get her and the kiddo out there, and they'll want to leave early. They're not going to stay.
Exactly.
But I haven't seen Heather Perrin stay too late with us, but I know she always enjoys the visit in the early part. It's a lot of fun. We got koozies made up. I think it says Canal Pals or something, because we do it on the drainage canal behind the house. It's a hoot. That's a fun group of guys. Well, that's neat. And y'all formed this bond at the hunting camp, as I know a lot of guys around here do. And then you go off into different careers, right? So, Jacob, you mentioned earlier the park system where you work. Logan, you work in real estate, right?
That's right.
Why don't we take those one by one? Tell us a little bit about what y'all do in your day jobs. Because I view you guys as kind of a wildlife Batman and Robin here, right? But you got to have your Bruce Wayne cover story. So tell us about your day gig, and then we'll get into the rest.
Batman and Robin, they refer to us as Timon and Pumbaa. So.
I forgot about that.
That's right. Well, with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, I'm watching a heck of a lot of Lion King right now on Disney. So yeah, that's a cute reference. Well, Jacob, why don't we start with you, man? Tell us about how you got into parks and what you do and why you like that so much.
Well, after PHS, I attended Southeastern. Graduated in industrial technology. I got my concentration in supervision. And while in college, I worked at the Ponchatoula Recreation District. You know, it was a bunch of grass cutting, late evenings with the late baseball games. It worked out well with the college schedule. So after I graduated, I went and worked south of the lake for a while, doing some construction and things like that. Big boy job, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And, got to be long hours, a lot of away from home and things like that. So I got a call from the recreation district that said, "Hey, you got your college degree now. You've got some experience with the supervision." I ran a crew of 72 guys in New Orleans. They said, "We need somebody to come back and help grow the park and take it from more of a bunch of part-time people cutting grass to let's get a full-time workforce and have someone running this park," because it was just growing so exponentially. You know how people are moving into this area. So I molded over and ended up back at the park. It's a great place. It's a great community asset. I still get to spend most of my time outside working.
I know you love that.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not going to drag me from outside. I still love being on the tractor and fixing water leaks and whatever it takes. So anybody that's out there still sees me, on the ground working. And that also kind of lends itself to the outdoors thing we have,
Sure.
Baseball and all, and the basketball and everything that's going on at the park. It's usually happening, during the spring and summer months. So, put in long hours all summer. And then in the winter, when the grass cutting slows down, and I do all the turf management out there, so when the grass goes dormant, that frees me up to do the alligators, the ducks, the deer, that whole stuff.
Well, speaking of your background with the parks, that was the first time I noticed you. Obviously our families go way back, but when you were a little kid, maybe around the coach's pitch age, and you can correct me here because you probably remember better now. Did you play on Louis' team, or was it one of those other teams I coached maybe with under Coach Al Levine? Do you remember?
It was with Coach Al.
So Coach Al Levine was a wonderful man who, look, in his own right, a heck of a fisherman and hunter, and just a great guy. One of the best little league coaches Ponchatoula's ever seen. But what I remember was you weren't Jacob Stevens, you were Killer Stevens. I remember you came out there, and I liked you right off the bat because, like me, you weren't super tall like your pal Logan over there. And I'm like, that's my kind of guy, He's scrappy. And they didn't say your name. They said, "That's Killer." I was like, "Killer?" He's like, "Killer Stevens." And I just thought that was the coolest name. But you're a heck of a player, and it's a killer nickname. I hope it's stuck with you all these years. But that's neat. And now you're helping other little kids have those great experiences like you did 30 years ago. That's neat. Now, Logan, you're in real estate, right? With Branch Real Estate Company. Is that right?
Yeah,
Tell us about what you do there, because I know it's more than local subdivisions and stuff. You're doing land management and hunting tracks and all that.
Yeah. So
tell us about all that.
In Branch, Ponchatoula name for 70 plus years now.
Well, believe it, those guys, the Branch family and my family, my dad's grandparents, the Parkers, they actually came down from Michigan together like 100 plus years ago. So they came down way back too. Yeah.
And it's a great place to work, and the career itself is conducive to everything else that I've got going on in my life. It's very busy at times, but it's the freedom of the schedule helps tremendously in doing a lot of other stuff. I sell houses, but my primary focus is rural land, raw land, whether it be big tracts for development or housing or recreational tracts. Licensed in Louisiana and Mississippi, so where I can get into some more of those bigger parcels. I do some land management, like you mentioned, and also a notary as well.
Tell me about that, because I've been told the notary exam is a killer.
Man,
I mean, really tough. Is that right?
It's unreal. It's extremely difficult. But I will say this: the captain's test gave it a run for its money. Okay. Well, tell us about that. What's the cap? You guys are both captains, right? Correct.
Tell us about that process and what that was like.
So, in order to have someone in your boat for hire, if someone is paying you to be on your vessel, you're required to have a captain's license. We each have a OUPV 6-pack license. We can take 6 people on an uninspected vessel. Man, it was it was stuff that we've been in boats and on the water and around this our entire lives. And you open this book, and it's a different language, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there's one captain's license. It's not like if you're captain alligators, you do this. If you're doing fish, you have
Right.
captain's license is a captain license. We have to know everything from light signals and fog signals from the Great Lakes to what if you're sailing offshore. So you got to know it all.
Oh wow.
Firefighting procedures, first aid procedures. It's very very in depth. And I tell you what, it gave me a run for my money more so than college did.
Really?
In college, I studied harder for that.
Wow.
You got to do some old school navigation with parallel bars and protractor and pen and paper. These days we use GPS and plug it in and go where we want to where you're at. So you have to do everything old school.
Well, I hope folks are listening because we're talking to two very bright college graduates here. One who passed the notary exam, which is notorious. Look, I got good friends. I know somebody from a Tulane graduate that couldn't pass the notary exam. It's tough, So to hear you say that's it comforts me as a guy who values safety on the water when I'm out there with my kids and all. I mean, it's necessary. Captains know what they're doing, but probably just take for granted that it's done right. It's good to hear y'all confirm that you really got to run the gauntlet to earn that. Did y'all do that together, same time, or one after the other, or how long ago did y'all do that?
Well, we did the online course. So there's a course you have to complete, and there's a bunch of pre-tests and stuff like that inside of it before you go sit through the proper exam. So we both signed up at the same time, ran through the course, and we kind of had to say, all right, this is the day we're going to do this, and you better be ready. We kind of both put pressure on each other, and we went through, we finished everything, and we went and sat for the exam. Man, we go in there and it's 4 pieces, and one section you gotta make like a 90%, and the rest is 75, something like that. And we're sitting there, and I'm scribbling away, and I look, and about 30 minutes in, Jacob's getting up and leaving. I'm like, oh my gosh!
You just think your buddy gave up on you? Your partner, he bounced? Is that what you think?
But I wasn't close. I wasn't close. And he blows through this thing. Aces the exam, and I passed by the skin of my teeth. And so it's a running joke now that I'm his assistant captain because he scored higher on the test.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you got actual grades. So you were able to rub that in a little, Jacob, maybe? I'm sure you didn't do that at all.
Constantly. Let it happen.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's transition. We're talking about you guys being captains now. Let's talk about how you're putting that training to use. And I'm going to try to pull up your website here for NOLA Hunt Fish. Can you guys see that? Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
So tell us about NOLA Hunt Fish LLC, the company, how it got started, what you guys are doing. And in a little while, we'll share some photos with folks so they can see you strapping on alligator necklaces and taking folks duck hunting and spearfishing and all that. But how did this all get started? Where did the idea come from? And tell us about the formation of the company.
Well, where we actually have all these hunts, it's about 16,000 acres of private land, and it's in Orleans Parish, just across the St. Tammany line. A lot of people are familiar with the area, but between the Wrigley's and Chef Pass.
Sure.
And it's a piece that I manage. We do some duck leases on it. I've got some programs with the state, the Deer Management Assistant Program, marsh burning, alligator egg collection. There's several facets that I'm involved in, and in doing that, we started looking, and we got a pretty healthy alligator population. We gave it a couple runs, said, hey, this is maybe something that might be a viable option. It's a 30-day season. It's a very short window. As Jacob mentioned, the flexibility in his schedule and the flexibility in mine, it was something, hey, let's just try this. What's the worst that can happen? And one season kind of rolls into it, and we're looking up, and we're saying, we're getting a lot of interest. I see you got the website pulled up. My cousin Caitlin skates, man, she does an awesome job.
When she's not picking on you about Logan Palooza, she's a heck of a marketing expert, right? Oh, there she is right there. Is that her in the middle wearing that alligator across her neck?
Oh, yeah. But she handles all our social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, website, everything like that. And does a phenomenal job of it.
She does great work.
So
So I see there that top picture, of course, that's you and your brother Jake up top left, Caitlin in the middle. Boy, she's got some strength on her. I didn't know she had that kind of. That's serious. And then Jacob, I see you pulling that big boy out of the over there on the right. Well, tell us, if you would, before we dig into some of this stuff more specifically. Most of us don't really understand, and I look. My dad was literally the president of Louisiana Wildlife Agents Association. He's a former game warden. And my next door neighbor is a game warden who goes gator hunting all the time. Yep. I don't understand how the licensure and season works. All I know is kind of what you said. It's super short. I know it's highly regulated. You got to have tags to get these gators. But walk folks through just kind of gator hunting 101. How does it work? When does it happen? And then we'll get into the specifics of how the folks who are interested might want to do that with you.
Yeah, definitely. So in the state of Louisiana, you're issued tags based on acreage. So in order to get tags, you have to essentially own the land or lease it from the landowner. They do offer a few lottery hunts on some of the management areas and stuff, but with us having access to that much land, we had the tags at our disposal. So it was either go film for fun or try and make a business out of this. The season this year was kind of a special year. It's the first year they've done this, but typically it's 30 days long. Our zone starts the last Wednesday in August and it'll run for 30 consecutive days. This year they actually did give us an extra 30 days, but man, we fought with hurricanes, cold front, all that stuff that just makes it that much harder to catch these alligators. So where the whole NOLA Hunt and Fish came into play is we've got these tags sitting here that no one else can get, essentially. So we figured if we can offer a charter trip that lets you come experience the South Louisiana marsh, lets you catch alligators and ride around the boat, have a great time, it'd be something that people would enjoy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. And you can see it here in these photos. I mean, look at this little kid. I mean, God, that photo is going to be a treasure of his entire life. He's going to look back at that when he's 80 and be like, I'm the man.
No doubt.
That's just incredible. I mean, you can see it in the faces of all your customers. That's just joy. I'll see your Uncle Mike there. Boy, I'll tell you what, guys and girls alike getting in on it. I see somebody there making out with a gator on their shoulders. That's pretty cool. Who's this little one straddling this gator with the two of you holding it?
That's City Paul. That's Drake's little boy.
Oh, okay. That's my 1-year-old son. Yeah.
I know the screen. So just for the viewers, because I don't want you getting in trouble with your wife or kid. But you guys are looking at an iPhone, so you're looking at little itsy bitsy pictures on iPhone. So forgive me, guys. I know I'd forgotten that, and I'm looking at a big screen here. It looks like y'all got some gar fishing going there too, huh? How y'all getting those? Spear, hook, both? What are y'all doing?
We run jugs. For the fish. It's just another facet of the business that we offer. We try to give everyone the full outdoor experience. If we can, just the tours, the gators, catching the gar. We can run crab traps to show you how that's done.
Boil some seafood, of course,
Oh, the eating the crabs is the best part. Boy, that's the best eating on earth. So let's take it a little bit one by one. So we talk gators here. Obviously, it's a short season. We've got to dodge hurricanes that time of year. It's, crazy. But, because it's limited in time and tags, if folks want to do this with you next year, what's the process like? How do they get in touch with you? What's the best way to get at the front of the line for gator hunting next season?
They can contact us through the website or any of our social media. We have email addresses, phone numbers on there, everything. But
and that's NOLAHuntandFish.com. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
And there should be links to both Facebook and Instagram on the website.
Great.
But
I think I've got your Facebook page here. Yeah, it's even got a call button here. So all you got to do is click on call now, and that's the NOLA Hunt and Fish Facebook page.
That's it.
Lots of fun here. Now wait. I see somebody, what appears to be a hospital bed, maybe giving birth or about to, in a NOLA Hunt and Fish cap. Is that right?
That's a shout out to we had a crew from Nebraska come down and gator hunt with us the past couple of years. And yeah, that's one of their wives. He put the NOLA Hunt Fish hat on her. She was in the delivery.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let me see if I can get that.
Yeah, that was.
I'll make that one a little bigger so folks can see. But and then the next one too. Wait, I might be going the wrong way. Hold on, I'm in the wrong. Forgive me, I'm not the internet whiz I should be. But look at this. That looks like a big old Colorado action.
Yeah,
I see snow on the ground, so I take it this didn't happen near the Wrigley's.
No. That's that was one of our clients from this past year. And it's pretty neat, man. Everybody loves to take pictures with the hats on different outdoor adventures that they're doing and everything, or having kids, whatever it may be. So it's kind of neat to see the hats going around the country. But that was one of our clients from this summer.
Yeah, we've had clients from 15 different states.
Oh wow! I knew you guys were in demand. That's really impressive. And speaking of your clients, I've got a comment here from one of them. I think we can pull up and show. Nick Killebrew says the gator necklace photo that you take is priceless. He's constantly getting compliments on his. So that's really neat.
And that was a very, very pretty alligator.
Yeah. And shout out to Nick and Kate with Piro & Co. Man, that's another great local business that they're doing big things, man. Very proud of them guys.
That's neat. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. Well, let me ask you this. What are you guys learning from this? I mean, what I'm hearing in your stories, obviously you guys are homegrown and you stuck around here. Okay. And so in a bit, I'm going to circle back to the kind of why Ponchatoula, because y'all are bright guys. You're energetic. You could do anything anywhere in the world, but you chose to stay here. So I would love to hear the why on that in a second. But I also hear a very diverse background, right? I mean, it's not just the recreational stuff y'all like to do, hunting and fishing and all that stuff. But, you stuck in school, you finished college, you went through these careers, very different backgrounds. What are some lessons you learned along the way? And I guess the better way to phrase that would be, if you could go back to little Logan and little Jacob, little Killer Stevens when he was a kid or recent college grad. I mean, when Pumbaa and Timon were young, what advice would you give to your younger self, based on these lessons you learned along the way doing this kind of stuff?
Just persevere, stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak for Logan, but I wasn't a straight 4 years and graduated Southeastern, and hit it like that. It took a little time, taking a semester off.
But it didn't take you 12 years like my brother Bree, did it?
No, it didn't. I was, I think, 6.5. But cool. I stuck with it, and I had great parents pushing me. Told me to get the degree. Got that to fall back on. I guess you could say I do use some of it with the supervision aspect of it, running the recreation park. But just faith, family, and friends is what I would tell my younger self. Keep that.
Yeah, great advice. That's wonderful. Logan, what would you add to that?
Well, chronologically, it took me like 10 years to graduate college. I think I was only there for like 5.
Right.
Only paid for tuition that many. But the best advice would be to, and it's a big part of the reason that I'm still in Ponchatoula and building my life here is that, family comes first. Very important. And sometimes it gets to be a headache, man. And sometimes it's too much, and it's that small town thing where everybody knows everything, and everybody's always in your business and all. Well, then your family's all right here as well. So
no doubt, I can relate. Yeah.
But
well, speaking of family, your wife here, it says ask about the map. People from all of the U.S. can do a gator hunt with these guys. So I want to make sure I share Ashley's comment there. So you said 15 states earlier, Jacob. Y'all have already done?
This season. Yeah, this season we visited about people from 15 different states.
That's amazing in 1 year. That's cool. I think I see your mom on here. Logan.
I told you, this small town, look at the family.
They're always watching. It reminds me when I was a kid, my parents went to San Francisco one time. And got to remember, I'm old, so this was before people had social media. Most of us did. High school kids didn't even have cell phones yet. I think my dad had one because he was a sheriff, but mom didn't. Because it was. But parents are in San Francisco, and my brothers or friends and I were up to no good. And you know, by the next morning, my dad's calling me, chewing me out from the Gold Coast over there. What were you doing? What, you know? And it was just like, whoa. But there's no hiding in Ponchatoula because everybody knows one another, and they're gonna share that with you. Well, let's get back to the, you know, we're talking about the why. And Logan, you said, I mean, it's family. Jacob, the same with you. Is there anything to add to that, and the kind of why you stayed and why you're still here and raising your kids here?
Like I said, both sides of my family are from here, and most of them stayed here. And I like to be close to all my family, our family functions and everything. I know Logan is the same way. Our families have stayed very close, lean on each other for support. And I couldn't imagine leaving. You know, it's just a great place. It's Ponchatoula's growing, but it's still got the small town feel to it. You know,
there's still an actual main street. You know, shops and what. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a lot cool, and not just that there's a main street, but there's a main street with an alligator cage right there in the middle of it, right? You won't see that in Philadelphia or, you know, San Francisco. Well, let me ask you, I think we've talked to most of our guests about how COVID has affected their industry. What have been some, you know, implications of coronavirus and COVID on what y'all do?
On the actual hunting side, because, you know, we're very much outdoors, and people go to our website, they can see that we have a 26-foot boat that is Coast Guard rated for 17 people. So there's plenty of room for the social distancing outside the fresh air. We've got 16,000 private acres that we're hunting alligators on. So space there is not an issue as far as, you know, getting the hunts in. But the alligator industry itself, I know Logan knows probably a good bit more about how that's been affected, since he deals directly with the sale of the skins and the international trade with alligators.
Right.
So I know that.
Yeah.
Took a hit.
So
tell us about that, Logan.
With the industry itself, prior to this year, there was actually a ban on crocodilian skins in California, which was, you know, very big buyer for Louisiana. So that kind of hurt the price. When COVID hits, initially Italy was hit very hard. Well, that's where all your high-end fashion designers, some of these bigger buyers for skins are located. So of course that affects the price.
Right.
And Parker, for us, it's kind of a catch-22 when we're talking about pricing. We're talking skin pricing per foot. You know. Right. We actually contract a farm, C&M Farms, out of Springfield, Chris and Missy Wall, and they come and fly over and they pick alligator eggs from us, and we get paid on a per egg basis. And they sell the farm raised skins to all these buyers. Well, it hurts the pricing on the wild skins, which is what we catch when we go on hunts. So it's tough, you know. I'm getting paid on the eggs, and I'm not making it on the wild skins. But for the alligator population as a whole, it's great because they have to release so many alligators back into the wild. There's a very high mortality rate on eggs. High water, predators, and even cannibalism. That 0 to 4 foot range on an alligator, the mortality rate is like 85%. So
holy, I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah. So in the early 80s, when they started this egg collection and then release program, it's really when you saw a very big takeoff in the numbers of alligators. And like I said, catch-22. This year we struggled to find someone to buy our wild skins. You know, gone are the days of seeing, you know, $40, $50, $60 a foot. We were lucky to get $4 a foot this year.
That's wow. That's an industry killer there.
So we're just happy with that. We sold them to a farm in Clinton, Acadian Ostrich Farms. A guy that makes his own stuff and everything. But so from that standpoint, COVID really affected the pricing of the eggs and the pricing of the skins. Yeah. Another draw for where we are is we're 30 minutes from the quarter. So with New Orleans being shut down, that's a very big tourist attraction. Maybe not only for tourists coming to hunt, but maybe for our hunters going to be tourists, you know, while they're down here. So and also economically, everybody was maybe a little tighter on money this year. Depending on what industry they were in. So you go spend money on an alligator hunt, that's probably not very, top of your list.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. Even though those of us that are blessed enough to still be surviving and making it, heck, I think my firm's down 25% this year, because when we shut down for a while, that's going to do that to a lot of things. Well, let's talk, we're talking about all these changes. You mentioned the hurricane and its effect, or the hurricanes, plural.
Yes.
COVID. What are your plans for the future? Because clearly you guys are very nimble. When you're talking about prices plummeting from 40 to 4, you have to be really resilient and on top of your stuff to kind of survive those kind of issues. What do y'all see coming around the corner for the future of your business and what y'all do?
The entire wild alligator industry, it looks like there's going to be a big shift in the market to these hunts. This year, there were people that didn't even go pick up their tags from the state to fill them because there was you're spending money to go fill these tags that you're not recovering anything on.
Yeah.
So it looks like there will be some kind of a shift towards that, and we're hoping we're far enough ahead of the curve to where we've established ourselves. We have a good presence, and we also offer a very professional hunt and experience on these alligator trips. And Louisiana sometimes get a bad reputation for missing teeth and not the brightest people that are doing these things. And we kind of.
But are you trying to imply some of these swamp creatures we've put on TV over the years haven't put our best foot forward? How dare you, Logan?
Yeah.
No, of course you're 100% right. The image. So let's talk about. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, but let me ask you something specifically, and then you can finish. What about putting you guys on TV? Aren't the two of you just made for TV?
Man,
I mean, Look, speaking of that, I'll show a comment here. Mitch says, looks like Jacob's been working out, My 4-year-old Luke would say, hold up, swole up.
No, Mitch.
So what, do you guys have any plans to get some cameras on the boat? I mean, obviously you're taking beautiful still photography and you're doing social media videos and stuff, but what about a show? Would either of you be open to that?
I don't think we're something we're pursuing. If you read our website and our biographies and everything, we're more about sharing our experience with someone there in the boat and everything, So, a lot of stuff, as gets played up for reality TV and whatnot.
The camera crew will take away from the authenticity.
How alligator hunting really goes. So if you look, you saw the kids. It's a very safe thing. Kids come. We have spectators come watch family members catch alligators. Both licensed and insured captains, got a brand new big boat. We're doing it all the right way, and that's what we want people to see. I'm sure you could probably go in any little flatboat with somebody that says that they're an alligator hunter, but they're right. Torn up T-shirt and different things like that, and so that's what we want to be. We want to be the professional aspect of catching these alligators and give those alligators, the respect that they're due. It's a great animal.
Yeah,
it's just a dinosaur. So,
and we've been on enough hunts with different outfitters through other states and several countries and everything like that. We've been all over the place hunting, and we kind of were able to draw on that, on what we enjoyed about different hunts or what we didn't like or what we do different, and try to incorporate that, because as much as we are captains or outfitters or guides, we're outdoorsmen, man. We're hunters, we're fishers. Like that's what we do when we're not working or we're not guiding. So we know kind of what to look for. And when we get some of these people from out of state, you got to think, Parker, we take it for granted. You go down to down 55 South, you're riding over water the entire way to the block.
You're right.
Not fathomable for some people,
I know, yeah. Just miles and miles of interstate are all over water. It's crazy.
Exactly. And so when they can come down and they can see the marsh and pull up a crab pot full of blue crabs, or watch the egrets or the fish jumping. I mean, it's a different way of life, and we're working very, very hard to preserve what little bit is left of that kind of old school Louisiana culture.
That's so neat. And I see you passing it on to your kids. We looked at the photo earlier of Sydney riding on the gator. You know, Logan, I don't know if you've taken your little girl out there with you. You know, she's into that. So, I mean, tell us about that. What's it like passing that on to the kids? Because we talked a lot about you coming up, learning from uncles and pawpaws and all that. What's it like passing that on to your kids?
Yeah, both of our kids, the wives and kids accompanied us this year, are putting out all the alligator stakes and lines and getting set up. So, you know,
that's cool.
They might be 2 years old, but they're leaning over the front of the boat, watching us, tying the lines, and, you know, learning about the alligators and how to handle them, how to not handle them. And that's just as much fun to me.
Oh, yeah. And my little girl, Charlie Brooks, she'll be 3 in April, and it's certainly not something that I'm gonna, you know, like push on her, but I'm gonna give her every opportunity to hang out with Daddy and enjoy it and everything like that. And you know, 5-10 years down the road, if it's not what she's into, well, we're gonna go full throttle whenever she wants to do. You know, right. But hopefully you'll
get her the Barbie dream house if that's what she wants. But as long as she'll go ride in the boat with Daddy, you'll do it. Well, speaking of family, I just discovered something kind of neat here in the comments, and I'll try to share them with you. Our clerk of court, Gary Stango, who I'm sure you guys know well. He says, not saying that I'm old, but I worked at South Central Bell with Logan's grandfather.
He sure
How
did.
cool is that? South Central Bell. I hadn't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, I actually, the belt buckle I'm wearing right now is one of my pawpaws, and it's from South Central Bell before it was even a Bell South, you know.
Boy, that's cool. Well, look, speaking of that pawpaw, here's your cousin. She said she didn't know that. That's our pawpaw. And Caitlin makes another good comment here that the gator necklace is your trademark. So I might have to get you guys introduced to an intellectual property person who can help protect that for you.
No doubt.
And then I see we have some more comments coming in here from William Sanchez. He says, "Hi, I'm William. I am new. Do you want to be my friend? I have autism." Yeah, William, we want to be your friend. I see you. You're from El Paso, Texas. Well, welcome to Ponchatoula, man. We look forward to meeting you in person. Well, guys, I've kept you longer than you agreed to appear for, so thank you for your patience. Before we go, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers? This has been a fun, wild ride, and you guys have been packed with entertainment and information and advice. But is there anything else you want to share before we go?
I just want to give a big thank you to our families, wives, you know, for allowing us these opportunities to go out and do what we love. The alligator hunting, the deer hunting, and everything, you know, this time of the year, some weekends away from home.
It's rough. And you know, alligator season is it's a constant thing. Whether you have a hunt or not, you're preparing for the next day, and you're moving, you're dropping gators off at the processor. It's a constant battle, and you know, our wives may not like us at times when we're going and everything, but we couldn't do it without them, and without the grandmothers and grandfathers that help with the babies and everything, friends and cousins. It truly is a production that's way bigger than just me and Jacob. A lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on that we'll forever be grateful for.
And the customers and clients, you know, for trusting us to take them out to this great wilderness and give them a great experience. They most all of them have become great friends.
Yeah.
You know, teasing us in the comments.
Yeah.
Right.
So thank you to everybody. You know.
Well, it's so neat to see y'all succeed in this, because it couldn't happen to two better guys. And for anybody watching, if you're thinking about whether you should do this and who you should do it with, you will not find two better guys to trust yourself, your family, whoever you want to bring on that boat to go hunting gators, ducks, you know, catching fish, whatever they do. I've known Logan and Jacob since they were little. I really admire these guys, and they'll do a great job for you. And you don't have to take my word for it. Go check them out on social media. There's, you know, tons and tons of people singing their praises. They're great guys. And I'm so glad to see y'all close with thanks to your family, because like me, you're blessed to be married to, you know, a beautiful woman who puts up with you.
Right.
And I'm sure, like, you know, like me, you can be a handful at times. And those women have been great for you. And, you know, that's a benefit of being here from great families. You got great grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it, to help you raise these kids. And it's so important. So thank you guys for your time. I wanted to share you too. You'll be the first guest here. I'm going to send you a free Ponchatoula.com t-shirt. So each of you, so I have to get you shirt sizes later. Jacob will get you a small to show those guns off.
Extra medium.
And, yeah, right. But thank y'all. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in and sticking with us.
Thank you, Parker. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back next Thursday at 3 o'clock, Ponchatoula Live. Bye-bye.